Saturday's Mirror now, Nick, and is David Attenborough politically biased? Surely he's a Tory. He did a show called Blue Planet.
Yeah, so this is BBC decide not to broadcast David Attenborough episode over right-wing backlash fears. So the idea, I mean, imagine this. Imagine how lefty and smug a show must be for the BBC not to show it because they're worried it'll call... I mean, look at the stuff they do show. But yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure how it would have worked, but it was about rewilding and the beauty of nature. It was probably really annoying, I imagine. I mean, I hate the idea of rewilding. I'm from the country. You know, I don't really want to come across like a saber-toothed tiger or whatever it is because they brought buffalo back. You know, it's already weird enough when you're out there in the fields as like, you're like, is that a bull or a cow? We don't want... Rewilding is bad. But anyway, this was going to be about rewilding. And Attenborough really bothers me because he's one of these Malthusians. He's always on about the population being too high. And it's always like, well, then what are you going to do about it, David? You know what I mean? They always want to live.
Well, to be fair, he's probably going to die in a relatively short amount of time.
So but he has lived a very long time, hasn't he? Let's face it, Steve. So, you know, he's lived a long time. But they want the population to be reduced. And as far as I can see, there was a clip I was watching of him and he was like saying, you know, this kind of thing couldn't happen. And it was like a leopard going into a house and sort of wandering around. And because of that, we're all supposed to just off ourselves. They want this kind of weird utopia where it's just like animals and about 10 people.
And also managed land. Like, for example, managed grouse moors provide a much better habitat than just open moorland. The heather is burnt, so you get different levels, different growth rates that support, you know, all kinds of plants and animals, not just grouse. You get orchids, all kinds of rare flora and fauna. And also the land is owned by somebody and they've got to turn a profit. The next most profitable use for grouse moors is usually blanket coniferous forestry, which is, you know, a monoculture. It's devastating for the land, acidifies watercourses. It's terrible. I think though, this is the BBC. As with the Gary Lineker thing, this is the BBC pretending that they've got to either cancel Gary Lineker or cancel this documentary because of right-wing people to turn people against right-wing people.
Yeah. I mean, having said everything we said, I would have still obviously shown it because if only to not give the Mirror annoying stories like this. I mean, show the stupid show.
Nobody would have complained about some documentary that David Attenborough... When's anybody ever... Like, the Tories have praised all the previous documentaries with David Attenborough.
The episode where you got a bottlenose dolphin that actually had a bottle or something like that, when the fish got in a bottle and he was saying, like, this is the future. There were loads of complaints about that.
Has he not seen those ships? How do they... I mean, if you think
the dolphin inside the bottle.
If he thinks it's weird that a fish can get in a bottle, wait until he sees a whole little model of it.
He does great work when he sticks to animals. That Dynasties was great, you know, about the alpha chimp trying to secure its legacy and all this kind of thing. Brilliant stuff. But when it gets onto, and this is why you should all be killed, and that's why I turn off.
I don't think that's about him.
Well, that's...
Maybe he's turned.
I'm paraphrasing.